The only thing that keeps you hanging on the surface is that you don't want to die.
What you do transcends culture, right? It transcends language.
I know that once my mind is set up for doing something, even though I am failing or I am moving backwards, I know no matter next day, I'll try again and I'll do it.
And what's different about climbing a building versus climbing a rock? What did you first notice?
In some of the buildings, there is no way to have a rest. It's like your body, it's like a tank, and the gas is getting lower and lower and lower until, if there is no more gas, your arms are opening and you're dead.
You know, you talked about holding yourself up by your fingers and how, I mean, I guess it's a way where you just really realize how precious your life is and how amazing your life is.
You are holding your life with sometimes only a few millimeters. And I really love this fighting mode. This is what keeps me alive.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go? This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Yep, I'm talking about the French Spider-Man, Alain Robert. This guy was on the show. Of course you know him. He predates the internet. The guy that you saw climbing up the Sears Tower, the guy that you saw climbing up the Petronas Tower with no ropes, the Burj Al Khalifa. This guy scales things back when nobody ever heard of free climbing. And he's now 58 years old and he's still doing it. I love sitting down with Alain, and I was surprised to learn that he was actually a free solo climber back in the day. Much like Alex Honnold that just climbed El Capitan in Yosemite for his movie Free Solo. And he was actually on the cutting edge of climbing many rock faces in Europe without any ropes. In fact, Alex Honnold says he's one of the original dudes. And it was interesting to see that he had that much street cred and respectability in the climbing community. But there's more. Alain believes that everybody out here is living the crazy life because when he's up on that building, he feels alive. That makes sense to him. He feels at peace. And the rest of the time, he kind of doesn't really know what life is about. And I found that perspective really interesting. Someone who risked their life in order to feel alive. He's a fascinating dude with incredible stories. He's got a real rebel punk edge to him as well. And he's still climbing. He's a new father. And it's just great to be around this rock star of a dude. So sit back and enjoy my incredible episode with the French Spider-Man. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Alain Robert, the 58-year-old urban climber known as the French Spider-Man. You are one of the world's most daring free solo climbers, famous for scaling over 165 skyscrapers and famous landmarks all over the world, including the Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building, the Petronas Twin Towers, and the 110-story Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower in Chicago. You've been arrested over 120 times, and in 2011, you climbed the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, ascending almost 3,000 feet over 6 hours, securing your place in the Guinness Book of World Records. Alain, welcome to London Real.
Well, you said everything, so I gotta go now.
That's it, right? First, before we get started, I wanted to know, what is it like coming to London? Because you've been coming to this city for many years. I mean, and climbing things in this city with different reactions, right? You came first, I think, in '95 and did Canary Wharf, and then you came back in like '04 and then '11. Tell me, what's your relationship like with this city? And is it friendly to people like you?
Actually, I kind of like London, except the weather, it's always a nightmare. I never know what I'm going to find when I'm landing in London, but...
Which can affect your climbs in a big way, right?
It is, and also because I don't really like, cold weather, I don't like rain, so, that's why actually I moved to Bali like this. The weather is really nice, it can't be lower than 26, and pretty much every day it's a sunny day with like around 30, 32, so I really enjoy.
Okay, but you come to London in the past because it had great structures, and it was a fun city and energy. So you like the city.
I still like it a lot. Although, now I'm done because, I got 2 injunctions.
Okay. So what does that mean? You have an injunction, which means if you try to climb something in the city, they're going to put you in jail for 5 years. Is that right?
Yeah, they could even put me, regarding my lawyer risk, for up to life sentence in jail. I don't think they would do that, but actually they are entitled to do it. So it's kind of tough.
And this happened when they found out you were going to try to climb the Shard, right? Is that when they decided to be proactive with an injunction on you?
Exactly. Which at that time I had no idea that just hanging around on a building, whether I got spotted by the security people and they knew who I was, and I never ever thought that just by presuming that maybe you may climb their building, that they could do something against me. So that's why I was not really trying to be hidden. If not, I guarantee you, I was going to wear a cap, I was going to wear normal jeans and whatever, but definitely not wearing such a snake.
Were you wearing the snake skin?
Well, that wasn't snake skin at the time, but that was like kind of a turquoise leather pants and leather jacket, so already very flashy.
Okay, so you're doing a little recon around the Shard.
Yeah, just, like being sure that, and then, yes, I saw that actually climbing the Shard was kind of easy because they built it, each of the corner, there is like a big pipes. It's a bit like a tall ladder. So I knew overall, I didn't care whether it was going to be difficult or not. Right. I knew that although it would be an easy building, at least as the tallest building in Europe, I wanted to do it.
Right. And a bunch of people have climbed the Shard since then.
Yeah, there was those, actually at that time, I was supposed to do an ascent for Greenpeace.
Okay, Greenpeace for
and
the
then
Shard.
I had to wait because I came, it was like, I forgot if it was December or January, but I had to wait until June. So after like few weeks, I already got an email and they were explaining me that they wanted to attack me. And then I didn't know what to do. I spoke to my lawyer and he said, look, Alain, I'm having a problem because it's not enough. It will be going to the High Court of Justice and you need also a barrister. And the barrister cost £5,000.
Okay.
So the lawyer was my friend, so he said, okay, I'll do it pro bono. But I was just thinking myself, if I go to court, it means that I have paid £5,000 for a barrister, then the judge is going to find me guilty. He's going to feel, this guy, he doesn't want the injunction. Why? Because he's going to climb it illegally. And obviously, and then in my mind, I just thought, there is no way that I can fight against it.
Right, and you never saw anything like this before where a city or a country was proactive, even when you hadn't committed a crime. You were just walking around looking at the building, but they'd put an injunction because they thought you might climb it.
Exactly, yeah,
wow.
Because I never imagined that it was possible to do something proactive.
Okay.
I thought if you're committing a crime, then you get caught. Yeah. It is happening. It's not something that maybe you may do it or you may not do it. It's a bit like, okay, you are really seeing a guy who has, I don't know, killed or robbed a bank, and then the day he's outside, you make an injunction on all the banks, so meaning this guy is not allowed to approach the banks.
Right, okay, gotcha. So you can't climb while you're here, but the first time you came here was '95, and you climbed one of the towers in Canary Wharf. It was the HSBC tower.
Oh,
maybe.
no, that was the Canary Wharf building. There was nothing at all at that time. There was only one building.
One building out there.
Yeah, that was great because the cops were really nice. The people in the building were really nice. I remember, when I was at the police station, I spent like 20 minutes. I got nice food, English food. So not nice food, but okay.
Okay. And
I didn't get sick.
Right, and on that day, you tried to climb to the top, but it started raining and it was cold.
That was later on, I had to do something for one of my sponsors, and then they were kind of insisting because I was already a few days. We were waiting in London. I guess their expenses was skyrocketing, and on that day they were kind of insisting for me to climb.
Okay.
At least it was not raining, although the sky was threatening. So I went there. I was hidden inside the trunk of a car because on the day before, actually, some cops, they saw me and then I got kind of headache. Then I decided that I was going to find another way. And then I climbed and I climbed.
So you hide in the back, in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
It pulls up. You jump out the trunk.
I just dashed out of the car and then I started climbing and then it just couldn't do anything.
And so when you go to climb a building like Canary Wharf or anything else, I mean, for you, you've already hopefully planned it out. So you've scoped out and done some reconnaissance of the building itself. Do you look at like drawings or architecture plans? But before the internet, how could you know what's at the top of a building or what you can hold on to?
Actually, sometimes I had to go in the city, like I did in Chicago when I climbed the Sears Tower.
Sears Tower.
I went there 4 times.
Okay. Did you go up to the observation deck?
I did it, but also going inside other buildings
and looking
checking
across.
with powerful binoculars and just being sure that that was not a mistake, attempting the climb, because I've never climbed to die. I've always climbed because I just feel like I want to feel alive. I want to reach the top alive because I'm having responsibilities, first of all, and also because I am not a suicidal person. I fully enjoy life.
Okay, so you're not suicidal. Are you an adrenaline junkie?
Well, some people, they are calling it that way. So let's say that I can feel a lot of things when I am climbing, especially after the ascent. But maybe if this is adrenaline, then yes, I am. But I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. I just know that it feels good.
Okay. Do you feel, I mean, you're not shaking though. I mean, like, are you kind of in a real Zen state when you're climbing? Do you feel like it's an out of body experience?
I'm more like a focused person,
Okay.
not really thinking about anything. Like I am really into it, I know it's a game. It's life and death is very close. It's a very thin line.
Yes.
And I cannot afford to overstep the border. Then I don't have time, to think about my other problems or, the bills that I just didn't pay.
Right.
I just don't give a damn fuck about it. I just do my stuff.
So that's a beautiful moment, because in the rest of your life, you've got problems. You got to think about things.
You're right. That's the thing. We human beings, all along our lives, we are facing tons of problems, and then we need to settle all of those issues. But when you are free soloing, you are really fucking at peace. Although you may die like within a snap, but you are really into it. There is nothing interfering, and it's just magical.
Is that a flow state? Have you heard of this term, the flow state? Is that what that is, or you don't overthink it?
I'm also not really knowing about it.
Okay, but it feels really good.
Like floating?
It's called flow state. It's like when
I'm
people are like in the zone and you're out there and you're focused, but you're not exhausted. It's maybe a little adrenaline, but you're not panicking.
Meaning, yeah, that's the magic of that feeling, is that you are not dead, you are alive, but you are also not really alive, because you are so close to die, and I don't know. it's just amazing, you know. Nowadays, our society is bombarding on security for this, security for that.
And
They are
safety.
putting cameras everywhere.
Right.
You know, in London, all the more. I think it's most likely the city in the world which there is the most CCTVs, right?
Yeah, in London, yes. Most
So-
cameras everywhere, and there's safety everywhere. And you think that the rest of the people, besides you, our lives are too safe. There's too boring. There's no risk.
Yeah, because
Maybe our lives look crazy to you. People say you're crazy, but you think it's crazy not to take risks.
exactly, you know, our ancestors, they were having a difficult life. They were taking risk on a daily basis. You know, they had to kill big animals to survive. You know, that is the way the life was a long time ago. But nowadays, yes, we found plenty of ways to make our life secured and everything. But overall, you know, it's boring. Nowadays, you know, most of the people, honestly, they are watching adventure, seated on a armchair on fucking TV, and wow, they are watching Indiana Jones or whoever. And then when they off the film, they are going back to their boring life.
Do you think that's why we suffer from so much depression and anxiety, because we're not taking risks?
I think so, because, you know, overall, I built my life, you know, in a certain way. I never wanted to work. You know why? You know what? You know what's the meaning of working? I checked it. I didn't know before. It means torture.
Means what?
So torture.
Thought you're.
Torture.
Okay.
Torturing people.
Oh, torture. Oh,
Yeah, torture.
That's
Yeah,
the
I'm sorry,
definition.
torture.
That's okay. That's
So
the definition of work.
Who wants to get tortured? Nobody. Then when you are working, obviously you are torturing yourself. So I wanted not that for
You
my
didn't
life.
want anything to do that. You were always an adventurer. You always wanted to.
I always felt like in life, you know, there is those who wants to live their dreams and those who are only dreaming their lives. And me, I wanted to live my dreams.
Okay.
So and this I got it like I was like 15. I already knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life.
And you grew up in France.
I grew up in France.
What
yeah.
kind of childhood? Like, when were you in the rural areas? Were you in the countryside? Were you?
I was in a city, and
Okay.
then I became a Boy Scout, and starting to go, you know, a bit outside, discovering the nature, climbing cliffs, and
Now,
having
climbers
fun.
are a weird bunch of guys, right? I mean, climbers.
Maybe a bit, yeah.
I mean, you kind of do your own thing. It's usually not the most social thing, right? You're up on a rock, and I mean, you kind of tune out of society somewhat, climbers.
Yeah, yes. Well, maybe yes. A long time ago, I was like that, but you know, now I'm like close to 58, and I am exactly the opposite. You know, I'm socializing with people.
Okay.
You know, I do find interest in many things. I can be just a guy going on the beach, 6 o'clock in the morning in Bali, just, you know, looking at the waves and just, you know, being amazed by my surrounding. Finally, I can say I am seeing the world the way it is.
Right.
Which, when I was young, I was far too focused on climbing, on training, on being good, doing this, doing that, and then there's so many things that I didn't see, and fortunately for me, as I'm still in a good health, I can still see a lot of things that I didn't manage to see before.
Yeah. All right. I want to go back to Chicago really quick, because I lived in Chicago for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
In the 90s. I don't know, when did you climb Sears Tower?
1999.
99. Okay. I lived there about 1995, and I went up to the top of the Sears Tower deck. First of all, it's windy in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's cold, and the Sears Tower is the scariest building. I was up at the observation deck, maybe at the 106th floor, 103rd floor. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
it's a scary building. You know, it's massive, and you went to climb it, and you had a point where you said, "I'm dead," right? I mean, you were
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
well, especially, you know, on that day when I climbed it.
First of all, why'd you climb it?
Because it was there and I had to do it. It's like mountains, you know. There is. I heard it a long time ago, and because people, they keep on questioning why are you climbing, and just because there is a mountain.
Right.
And for me, the Sears was like a mountain of glass and steel, and it was so obvious that it was an amazing target.
Was it the tallest building in the world at the time?
At that time, it was.
It was, right. Okay. And you had done your first building only about 4 years earlier in 95.
Also in Chicago.
Oh, also in Chicago. All right.
At that time, I saw the Sears and I just thought, fuck, this building is totally impossible. It's scary, actually. I went to the observatory deck. I was looking down, although I was used to it. I had climbed a lot mountains, with like 1,000 meters cliffs. But, a building is different because you're having a reference point. You can see the scale because down the road, you can see the car. And the car in your mind, it means something. If you are climbing a big mountain, you are not seeing such a thing. So at one point, you get lost. You don't know whether you are 500 meters above the ground, 1,000 or 2,000, because you are kind of lost.
Okay.
But on a building, you are perfectly knowing where you are.
Because there's cars on the ground and it's so straight, you can see all the details.
Definitely, it is scary.
Okay.
And I love that scariness because I just knew that, wow, I'm going to do that.
Right.
The morning I was about to do it, I was even crying.
Really?
Because I knew that most likely I was living my last few hours.
Wow.
I was crying, but I have decided, no way, I am not moving backwards. I'll do it.
How do you deal with the emotions, say 24 hours before? What's happening? Are you going up? Are you going down? The tears, are they tears of fear? Are they tears of joy?
Yeah, actually, it's like waves, meaning there is moment which you are not doubting about yourselves, and there is moments which you are like pretty much down, and then it's kind of difficult. Overall, I have always known that once I am into action, all of that, I put it aside.
Okay.
I am focused. I am the tiger who is fighting, and I make it. I don't make it. It's not such a big issue, actually. I've been living such an amazing life. I have crossed more than 4 decades free soloing. And I still don't even know why I'm still alive, actually, because I fell a few times. Doctors, they said year 1982 that physically talking, I was not going to be able to climb back.
Right. You fell in 82.
Yeah.
This is 13 years before you climbed a major skyscraper in Chicago.
Even the cliffs, because
right.
a lot of people are not knowing that I did amazing cliffs free solo.
Super high difficulties.
Yeah.
What are they called? Like 513?
513D.
D.
Except that, when I became mediatic, the journalists, they said, we don't care about cliffs. And now that Alex Honnold, who is my friend, he has climbed El Capitan, then it's like, fuck, what I did 30 years ago, it's my fucking legacy. And people, they start talking about, even Alex, he said it, I am having transcript. He did a very nice interview for my next documentary. It's going to be released end of March. And what he said, what this guy did 30 years ago is mind-blowing, because his margin in between what he could do with a rope and what he did without was nearly the same.
Okay.
He said, look, I climbed a freerider, but my highest level with a safety was 4 or 5 grades above freerider. This guy, he was climbing at his utter limit with and without safety.
So he was giving you props by saying you were one of the best original free solo climbers.
Yeah, except that the journalists nowadays, they don't give a damn.
Because they see the buildings.
I got hurt when I read some stuff, because I'm just not only a guy who is climbing fucking buildings. I did climb cliffs for 20 years on a daily basis, free soloing art stuff, 513 A, B, C, and D, which nobody has ever climbed that level of difficulties. And then when suddenly I was like completely ignored, like people writing, oh, he's climbing an easy building, movements are quite repetitive, and bullshit, first of all, I climbed some very hard buildings like the Sears, like the Framatome in Paris La Défense, like the Blue Cross in Philadelphia, like the Petronas in Kuala Lumpur. So not all of the buildings, first of all, they are repetitive. So it's just like people that are writing bullshit.
Right.
They are totally non-informed, and it is really hurting.
Yeah, and look, I had Jimmy Chin in here, who was the director of the movie Free Solo, and Alex Honnold has come out and said that he's not the most technical climber. You know, he doesn't do like those 513Ds
Exactly.
Free Solo. And it sounds like you were one of the original Free Solo guys. I mean, because people weren't doing that Free Solo stuff way back in the day, right?
Yeah, I know deep down, and that's why, you know, now a lot of people, they start to understand, because with Instagram, with Facebook was not so obvious, because the people following me, they were like you know, kind of normal people. But Instagram, there is a lot of climbers who are following me, and they are discovering year 2018, 19, and 20 that actually this guy, he did awesome things, but we just didn't know about it.
Okay, but Alex knows about you, and he's giving you the
He's
shout
my
out.
friend.
How did you become friends with Alex Honnold? Did
Because
you?
we met together in Poland. He's having one of his, I think his mom, she's from Poland.
Okay, and you met him a long time ago?
Oh, like 8 years back.
Okay, before he did El Capitan.
Yeah, but at that time it was already really good, you know, free soloing.
He had
so,
free soloed Half
yeah.
Dome already, perhaps.
I remembered, because I got the Grand Prix for my life, you know, all the things that I have done. And you know, Poland, they are very very square, you know. To get that prize, it's kind of amazing. And he saw, Alex, that I could pull my whole body with the pinky.
You could.
Yeah.
When you were younger, or
when
even
I was younger.
Okay.
And then it was like, kind of, wow, fuck, how you can do that? I know. This is the thing that he was like fucking amazed. He saw it, and he just didn't know that actually it was possible doing such a thing.
Wow. And there was film of you doing that from way back?
There was a video, yeah.
From a long time ago,
everything.
in the
Well,
80s.
like 30 years back.
Wow. Okay. Because a lot of the stuff that you did wasn't documented.
No, because you
video
know,
cameras.
at that time there was no
cameras.
internet, there no YouTube, no Google, no nothing. You know, nowadays whatever you do, whenever you are going to pee, there is somebody filming you.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I want to get back to the Sears Tower, but while we are on Honnold, what did you think of Alex doing the free solo of El Capitan? You must have known he was about to do it before he did it.
I knew it.
You knew about it. What did you think
before.
when you heard he was going to do it? Because you had your falls in '82 when you were doing free solos. Did you think it was a bad idea, a good idea? Did you think Alex could do it?
All my best performances, I did it after my accident.
Okay.
Meaning I became really famous end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. Meaning I was already highly handicapped.
Right.
I had my 66% disabled.
Right. So your wrists are your.
Meaning my wrist, my nerves, you know, a lot of things. I am having problem, you know, vertigo problems with my internal earrings on the left side. So meaning everything that I have done that is really relevant, I did it
Afterwards.
after my worst accident.
How do you have these injuries and do these amazing free
I
solo
fell
climbs?
head first, 15 meters, actually hands first. At the bottom of the cliff, it was rocks. So imagine the impact. Both wrists, they completely smashed up, really destroyed in 100 pieces each.
Wow.
Also my elbows, because my forearms work like shock breakers. And that most likely this is what saved me. And then after that, I bumped my head. I was in a coma and everything.
15 meters. Where were you? In Europe?
I was at the top, and then
where? What rock?
was a cliff.
Where?
Actually, in near Valence, in Cornas.
Okay, in France.
They are making very good wine.
Okay, in France. Okay, so you fell 15 meters down. You brace yourself. You break your wrists.
Yeah.
Everything's broken, all the bones, and you hit your head as well.
I lost 45% of my blood. My vitals were really. I was about to die, which somehow I didn't. At one point, they were supposed to amputate my forearm. I really did fight very hard to. I knew that doctors, they said that no way I was going to climb back. So, okay, I just thought, fair enough, keep it for you. And then once I was outside the hospital, I decided that I was going to find my own strategy. And the strategy was quite simple, the very small step, but every day.
Okay, so a little bit better every day.
Exactly.
And then you climb some of these amazing free solo climbs afterwards.
Exactly.
That must be mind-boggling for Alex Honnold to know that with limited wrist motion, you did some amazing free solo climbs. Okay.
You know, there again, what he did by free soloing El Capitan is also mind-blowing.
Right. What did you think when you heard he was going to try it?
First of all, I wanted to do it year 94, but at that time, there was no such a thing as a free rider. You know, you have to understand, there was a route, Salate Wall. But Salate Wall, it's unthinkable free solo.
Okay.
Because there is two pitches that are totally, they are far too hard and they are totally unsafe. So he tried it a long time, and then one day he found out that actually he could avoid those two pitches.
Right, by
and
doing
then
the free
he
rider.
called this part of El Capitan free rider.
Which is that kind of low slope with no handholds that you have to just kind of hope that your feet stick, because if you slide,
it's kind of
dangerous, right?
It's kind of a combination with, you know, that, you know, he worked on freerider like for 2 years.
Wow.
So he knew any single pockets. But, okay, the day you need to remove the rope and to do it without, it's a different game.
Tell me about that mind game when you take the rope off, because that's where 100 climbers goes down to one that can actually do it for real with no rope. And that's why there's very few free solo climbers.
I think most likely it is something very mental. It's like deep down you are accepting the ultimate death. Although this is not what you are looking for, but somehow you are accepting it.
The ultimate death.
Yeah, if you are not accepting that it may go wrong, you cannot do that.
Okay.
It's impossible.
All right, so you just accept that that could happen, and then you just continue.
You are wishing that your physical stamina, your mental stamina, your technicality will make it, but deep down, you cannot put it apart. Potentially, you are dead. Okay. You know, when I climbed the hardest thing I did in Verdun, you are 250 meters above the ground. It's 50-50. You are really playing a hard game.
Okay.
You know, I did stuff like year 91. The name is not Freerider, it's La Nuit du Lézard. It's completely nuts. The chances that you may do it and you may reach the top alive, they are really, 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 really slim.
Okay, so it's like flipping a coin.
Yeah.
You can easily die.
And you know why? I can tell you also why I did that. I guess I had to take a revenge. You know what's happened to me year 1982? I was a guy, I was young, I was 19 years old. I was promised a gigantic future. I was going to be an amazing climber, and suddenly I was a dead guy. And deep down, I couldn't accept it. I had to do something. And I did fight my own way, you know. Doctors, they were against me. They said, you can't do it. You won't do it. And I said them, fuck you.
And that's why you took some of those risks later.
I did it because I felt it's so unfair. I had my whole life, you know, I had everything ahead, and I messed up.
Why were you so good as a climber? Like, what makes you good? Is it genetic? Is it chance?
Because I started climbing when I was younger. I was peeing in my pants. I was afraid of height. I had only one thing, you know. Actually, I did start climbing because when I was a little boy, I dreamt to be courageous. I was afraid of everything.
Afraid of everything, even heights.
Oh, heights, I was terrified about heights.
So you.
My first experience was in my parents' car. We were going to Lyon and my dad, we were going to Toulouse and my dad decided to quit the highway and to cut short to the mountains. And I was inside the car and I was completely terrified.
Just to be in a car on the mountains.
I just thought that the car was going to fall anytime.
Okay.
And the car was going to be swallowed by the precipice and I was going to die. So, imagine the gigantic step in between peeing in the pants in the car and becoming a climber. So I became a climber, quite good. And then year 1982, I destroyed everything.
Right. And then you came back from those injuries and then started taking big risks again.
That was the revenge of my life.
Revenge. Are you going up there in anger when you're climbing?
Not at all.
No, because then you'll die.
No, and I was competing alone. I was with myself.
Just alone up there?
Oh, yeah. There was no YouTube, no nothing. Well, of course, I am having people who did witness the biggest thing I did. So there is pictures or kind of films. Okay. But that was not the purpose because I was pretty much free soloing every day.
Okay. And you did it because you had so much potential. You thought it was lost and you thought, I'm not going to waste this life.
Exactly. That was my path. I found it when I was like 8 years old. I saw a movie inspired by a novel written by Henri Troyat, The Grieving Snow. It's a story about an airplane from India who is crashing near the top of Mont Blanc and two brothers, they are guys, talented climbers, and they decide to climb the mountains to seek survivors. And then I saw that there was Spencer Tracy at that time. So imagine it's like the 50s, the movie. And wow, I was kind of, mind-boggling by seeing those guys climbing a mountain. And I thought, wow, I want to become a guy like that.
Wow.
So that was my dream.
Okay. And so you started doing scarier and scarier free solos. Things that you said you have 50-50 chance of even surviving.
Yeah, I was willing to play the high game.
Okay. One thing we saw from Alex Honnold in the movie Free Solo, this is what Jimmy Chin and all of his friends said, is that Alex can manage his emotions. Maybe too much, where the highest he'll ever get is a 6 and the lowest he'll ever get is a 4, and that's how he's able to free solo. First of all, do you think that's true? And second of all, is that the way you climb, where you can manage your emotions?
It is. There is no other way, actually. You cannot play a 50-50 games without managing everything. You are managing your emotions. If you are panicking, you're dead.
Right. Is that something you learned to do? Or were you born with a low bandwidth of emotions?
Well...
Because Alex looks like a cyborg in that movie a little bit. His girlfriend's frustrated with him because he seems like a real even-keeled guy all the time. That doesn't seem like you. Yeah, Alex doesn't wear snakeskin.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is a rock and roll style.
Right, you're more rock and roll.
And nobody is having one word badass.
One word badass.
You know why?
That's what it says.
In a funny way.
Yeah.
This is Alex Honnold who get interviewed by the New Yorker year 2009 when they were doing this long feature on me.
Yeah.
And he said about me, one word badass.
That's what Alex said about you before he was super famous.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And I liked it because I didn't even know, because when I read the article, I was upset about the writer. I said, what the hell she's writing that I'm a badass? Because I took it like bad and ass, and not knowing actually what was the meaning of being a badass.
So Alain, we're going to call this show one word badass.
Yeah, well, definitely.
All right, so Alex gave you props back in 2009. But again, like, do you think you're the even keel guy or only when you climb?
Oh, well, no more. Well, it depends because, I am kind of good, kicking ass of the society. I'm not really afraid of cops. Right. I'm not really afraid. I'm afraid of something of being bored.
Okay, being bored, right?
That's what scares me. Okay. That's it.
And you like being a rebel. And we'll get into that because some of your climbs involve a little rebelliousness and a little thumbing into authority as well. So let me just finish up with Alex. You heard he was going to free solo El Capitan. You knew about the new route. Were you scared for him? Were you scared of him dying? Did you know he could do it?
No, I knew he could do it, I knew Alex. I knew, you know, what he has done in the past. Well, like a year, even there was quite a long time actually that he was free soloing. I knew that free soloing El Capitan was kind of safe.
Safe.
I know we are discussing, you know, you are not a climber, so it's kind of difficult maybe to understand that free soloing this route, this particular route. I wouldn't say that if you are telling me he has free soloed Salate Wall or El Capitan, I would tell you it's completely nuts.
Okay, right. So
but the free soloing free rider was still doable, and especially because he had a lot margin. You know, as I was telling you earlier, when I was free soloing 513D, I had no margin. I could do 513D with a rope, and I could only do 530. No, I could only do 513D with a rope, and I could do 513D without ropes.
Okay. So there was, no margin there.
No margin.
He had margin. So it's funny how you say that, because everyone's flabbergasted when you're like, El Capitan was safe. But it was safe with the free rider piece at the bottom. If he had chosen those other routes, it would have been absolutely insane.
Yeah,
as in 80% chance of death.
Exactly. Meaning, yes, he wished that he could climb maybe Salate Wall or the nose, but he knew that actually it was far too risky.
Okay.
It was like, you know, when I climbed La Nuit du Lézard or Pol Pot in Verdun, I was like at 50-50. But maybe climbing Salate Wall or the nose, it would be 70% you die, 30% you make it, or maybe 80-20.
Okay, so, and all the climbers know that it's that stacked.
Exactly.
Will anyone ever climb those routes you just said free solo?
No, never.
Not for hundreds of years, thousands of years.
Yeah, no, even some of the top guys who are free soloing, like Alexander Huber, even climb harder than 513D. He did 514A. Free solo, but he said the style of La Nuit du Lézard and the way it is so hazardous, it makes it completely nuts.
Okay, so there's a weird psychological factor.
Exactly, because people, they may think, oh, actually what makes it difficult, this is the grade. But when you are free soloing, it's a different thing. It's the style of the route that you are climbing.
Okay.
Whether it is safe or it is totally insecure.
Okay.
And free soloing La Nuit or free soloing Pol Pot is totally insecure.
Right. So there's a difficulty and then there's a safety. And if the safety is not safe, it gets amplified when you're free soloing.
It means like you are relying on adherences with your feet, with the tip of your feet.
Right.
And any time if you are losing that little friction, then what your fingers are holding is so tiny that it's impossible not to fall.
Okay.
So it's like you are pushing desperately, hoping that you shouldn't lose contact, and then you grab the next pocket and the next one, and then suddenly you're at the top, and you feel like you just reborn.
Wow.
It's like I have fucking regained my life.
Wow. But most climbers can't handle that kind of psychology and emotion on a regular basis.
No, that would be nuts. And actually, most of the climbers, they are not even free soloing,
right? Because
they don't want to take risk,
right.
And most likely they are right.
Yeah,
it's just a choice. You know what you are doing with your, you know. Let me tell you something. Most people, they don't even know. Climbers, they are knowing, of course. Alex, for example, there is guys like now, like Adam Ondra or Chris Sharma. They have done things with a rope that they are much harder than what I did or what Alex did.
Okay, with rope, it's even harder. Okay.
But, you know, it is requiring, I don't know if this is strength or it is requiring something very special.
Okay. But you have to be an accomplished climber to understand how impressive those things are.
That's why, you know, I guess those Olympics this summer, if the coronavirus is not messing up everything, it's going to bring a new light about exactly what it is about climbing.
Okay.
Because people, they are quite confused. They haven't really understood that there is so many ways of climbing.
Okay. What did you make of the reception of the film? Did you watch the film, and what did you think?
No, I was hoping to see it on board of the plane, but I still no. I watched like a few 10 minutes here and there, which they are really good because the way they made it, the budget they have put on this film. I know this is National Geographic.
Yeah.
The number of guys who are involved, the number of cameras, guys like Jimmy Chin, you know, they are professional climbers. They are also professional filmmakers, so they could get an amazing result. Me, you know, most of the time when people are filming me, I am climbing illegally. You're having the worst angle ever. You are down, you are at the bottom. If you want to get a good result, you need to be at the top. You need to have some crane. You need to have a lot of things,
right.
And then you get the result.
Right. Do you think it was dangerous to have everybody filming that climb? You know, Alex knows there's cameras everywhere. There's making a movie about a climb. Does that put extra pressure on a free soloist?
Well, Alex said that actually he felt safe, you know.
Yeah.
He said, I knew any single pockets of the route, and on that day, somehow, I knew I was not going to fall.
Yeah, it was weird to watch, man.
So it's just like your state of mind.
Yeah.
He knew it, but of course, for the guys who are looking at it, you know, hanging their body on a rope, although they are really good climbers, but it's just like they don't understand. Like a guy who is putting his body on something small or jamming your fingers on a crack, it's just like kind of mind-blowing.
Right, but it's normal for you guys.
Well, I've been living like that for so long. For me, it's not like a routine because before an ascent, I am always afraid, meaning I am aware that there is always this question about life and death. So of course, I am deeply concerned. But this is still, I know I'm not a guy who is moving backwards.
Okay.
If I set up my mind, no matter, I'll do it.
You're going to do it.
That's why also, you know, there is two things that scares me, myself and being bored.
Okay, because you know you can kill yourself.
I know because I'm not the guy who is moving backwards. That's
right.
The problem.
Okay, so you always have goals and you always do what you say to yourself you're going to do.
I know that once my mind is set up for doing something, even though I am failing or I am moving backwards, I know no matter next day, I'll try again and I'll do it.
Okay.
It's not something that I put it aside and I said, it's done.
Okay. I want to get back to the Sears Tower, but I want to finish up with Free Solo. The reception of the movie, it won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Now everybody at least knows more about climbing and they understand Free Solo. Are you surprised there was that reaction? Is this good for the sport? Does it raise awareness?
Good. I'm not saying that it's good because it's a complete different discipline. You know, you cannot encourage people free soloing. It's definitely dangerous, you know, deadly. So, but in a way, it's good because it makes people understand that actually it is possible free soloing amazing stuff. And I would say that it is definitely inspiring.
Yeah. Will anyone ever free solo El Capitan again?
For me, it's done. You know, I'm too old.
Right.
I wish I could. You know, I'm like nearly 58, so maybe in another life, if I'm like cats and I'm having sevens, but already I'm used few.
Yeah, you have. Do you think anyone else will free solo that in the future, in the next 50 years?
Could be, but not sure because you know when you are free soloing, people they're not gonna try to climb back free rider. They're gonna try to do another one.
Right.
That may be very similar, maybe harder.
Okay.
But you know, climbing back free rider, it's okay. The game is over. You know, it did it. You know, it's amazing. It's maybe one of the greatest accomplishment at 2 days. But the next one, because there will be always a next one.
There will be, because 100 years ago, nobody would have conceived of free soloing El Capitan.
Exactly.
So 100 years from now, will there be super climbers, super athletes, super everything that can free solo some of these very difficult pieces?
Me now, okay, when I'm seeing what guys they are doing with a rope, I just imagine if they were having my mental or Alex Honnold mental, they could do much harder than what we did.
Okay. Okay. So you're seeing improvements, and
I'm very sure it's like running Usain Bolt and comparing with I forgot the name, but there is always improvements. Although it seems to be so small, because when you are gaining only a few split of second, it's gigantic. But there will be. I'm kind of sure.
Okay. Now, you say with the rope, you're seeing impressive things, and the fact that they have a rope means that there is some safety. But
meaning they are not using the rope, meaning they are climbing with their bare hands.
Right.
But in case in the event it turns wrong, there is a rope, and then they're not gonna fall at the bottom, so they're not gonna die.
Right. And but the quality of those climbers, you're super impressed with. So.
Yeah, because for me, it's complicated to understand. First of all, it's complicated to understand how I could do what I did. My hands, my wrist, the piece of shit. Really, some of the best surgeons specialized on hands, they don't understand how is it possible to do what I did, because it should be impossible. So I just imagine that if I had normal hands, like normal guys, so maybe I was not going to find that motivation, that to fight, to feel maybe revengeful. So that is possible. Maybe I became good because I was so destroyed.
Right.
I was so fucking upset.
Right. Yeah.
So I will never know. I'm just explaining you, from the bottom of my heart. I have tried, I've tried for years and years to understand, exploring myself, introspecting myself, trying to understand exactly why I did that. I'm still not. Maybe the best answer that I could tell you, it's like, I was promised to a great future, and I messed up. I was 19, I was dead, and then I didn't accept it.
Right. And so you pushed on anyways and made it happen anyways. And we've seen this throughout history, where people get an injury and the doctor said, there's no way you can ever do this, and they become the best in that thing. So it's the human mind.
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, finally I'm just duplicating what a lot of people did in different disciplines.
Okay. Now, climbing buildings, tell us how that came about, because you never planned, I think, on becoming the guy that climbed buildings.
No,
Nobody was climbing buildings. This is before the internet, really. I mean, your stuff went viral before the internet. I mean, I had heard about you back in the 90s. You were this dude, and I knew about you because I kept hearing all these things you did. How did this first start?
Actually, it's a demand. I got those guys from sectors doing watches, and all of their teams, they were like athletes. Some they were climbing in Himalaya, some they were scuba diving, this and that. And they knew I was really famous free soloing rocks. And they asked me if I could be interested in climbing buildings. So at first I found it completely crazy. And they said, okay, we're gonna go to US, we are paying you a 10-day trip there. We're gonna go to Chicago, New York, Dallas, and Houston. And then let's see, what is your feeling when you're gonna see some buildings, and if somehow there is something doable or not. And then I have started to realize that actually there was a potential, not really big potential, because first of all, I had to climb one and to feel it. And also at the beginning they said it will be something official. We're gonna get approvals. We will be using ropes, and everything is going to be secured. So I just took it like a kind of a new, different adventure, but not really as something that I wanted to do. Also, they were paying me. That was not too bad. At that time, I was broke. So,
There's no money in
there
climbing
was a
back
lot of
then.
things that actually it was still appealing.
Okay.
Uh,
And you're supposed to get permission, and then they wouldn't give you the permission, and you thought, I'm just going to climb it anyway.
It took 2 months actually, which those people, they paid some, how they are calling it, I forgot. They are guys, they are scouting, so they are like discussing with big companies and they try to get approvals. But after 2 months, they didn't get any approvals. So they got the idea, because since they already put a lot of money on it, to ask to some lawyers, actually, what could be the outcome if I was doing it illegally. And at that time, because we are talking about 26 years back, the outcome was not that bad, like maybe like 2 days in jail, maybe like a week, and then that would be enough.
Okay, so they convinced you to go
And,
for
and,
it,
I
and they would pay you.
it like, okay.
You like taking the risk.
Yeah, because when I was really young, actually, as a little boy, I dreamed to be Zorro, Robin Hood, D'Artagnan. So I was kind of rebellious.
Right.
I wasn't, but my mind was.
You like breaking rules.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, wow, fuck. It is even more interesting, more appealing, I felt like I need to do that.
It's more fun, more of a rush.
More everything.
More everything. Yeah.
Although on the eve of my first ascent in Chicago, I felt really dead.
Really?
I just, I was thinking, about the potential consequences, like falling from a building, like maybe being shot by the cops. I just didn't know. I had no, overall, I was in the city of Al Capone, and I was just, I had plenty of thought on my mind, and then I sometimes, I freaked up a bit.
Yeah, you never know with those crazy Americans. They might shoot you down. You don't know.
They could do that, actually.
Yeah. Did you see that documentary about the Frenchman that did the tightrope walk across the World Trade Center?
Yeah, I loved it.
What's with you crazy French guys?
Oh, well, I don't think there is a gene. It's just like, there is like few guys just like that. And
okay. But like, did you know his story before you saw that movie?
I saw actually the documentary about the guy.
Okay, Man on Wire.
Yeah,
but did you know of him before?
And then I saw the walk.
Okay, did you know of him before though, back when you used to climb?
I heard about the guy, but I never met the guy personally.
Okay, all right, so you climbed that first building in Chicago. What was the experience like for you? Do you remember what you thought? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you get arrested? Because this kicked off your career.
I was like, first of all, I was dehydrated because it was a sunny day. I think it was the day that was the final of the World Cup in Los Angeles.
Okay, all right.
In July, I forget the day, but I just remember that I was, I needed to drink. I was really suffering hard. I remember the so much noises, the cops, the firemen, guys shouting down the road, encouraging me, and when I reached the top, I just remember that it felt fucking good. The handcuff.
They handcuffed.
I was alive. I was like, I did it, man, and
and they arrested you.
That was not the greatest day in my life, but one of the greatest days because I was alive.
And it was the first time anyone had done a free solo of a building.
Yeah, and I remembered also later on I was in jail and I felt so happy. The guys were taking my the pictures, profile, face. They put me a number and I was happy. I was alive. I was in jail. I was singing.
Were they nice to you in jail?
They were quite cool, yeah.
Yeah, Chicago guys. How many stories was that first building?
48.
48. Okay. So that kicked it off. They let you out of jail a couple of days later.
Yeah, and then I finished the movie, meaning I had to climb like 3 or 4 buildings.
Okay.
And then that was supposed to be the end. But I've understood that actually, wow, I loved it, I can get a very nice life just traveling, kicking ass of the society, climbing, I loved it.
Perfect, right, perfect. And now you got all these people watching, because when you're on a rock in the French Alps, there's one person watching.
I was free soloing, meaning you cannot say that actually I was free soloing to get seen. Wrong. I was free soloing because I loved free soloing.
Okay.
And then suddenly, yes, I was exposed in the whole world. And then I was saying, but I climbed 513D. We don't care. You climb rock. There is pockets. You climb fucking buildings. There's nothing. And I was thinking, fuck, they're completely wrong, but what can I do?
Right. So the world knows you for climbing buildings, but they don't know what you did with free soloing rocks is so much more complicated.
That was much more amazing.
But, you know, Sears Tower.
Meaning, my legacy, this is what I did end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. Well, of course, couple of buildings, they were really hard, really hot. I nearly didn't make it. But I think more that actually my legacy is more into what I did doing rock climbing.
Right. And real climbers do respect you for that. Guys like Alex.
Those who are knowing, because they need to be old. The guys who are 16, 17, they don't even know anything about me.
Right. But
they know there's this crazy guy climbing buildings. Right. That's it.
They'll listen to Alex Honnold, though. So if Alex says good things, they'll listen to him. All right. So, and what's different about climbing a building versus climbing a rock? What did you first notice?
Let's say that most of the time it would be more repetitive, but sometimes that can be a trap
because you lose focus.
In some of the buildings, there is no way to have a rest. So it means that step by step, it's like your body, it's like a tank, and the gas is getting lower and lower and lower until if there is no more gas, your arms are opening and you're dead.
Okay, so it's repetitive, but it means you can't stop and you have to keep going, which means 20 floors of that, lactic acid in your muscles.
Exactly, you may be completely, you can't go any further. It's like if you are doing push-ups, for example, or pull-ups, you may be able to do 50, but you can't do 51.
Right.
And to climb that building, unfortunately, you need 51.
Right.
But your upper limit is 50.
Right. And whereas in a natural setting, you could maybe use some other muscles and use your legs and use this. But now
so when the tank is empty,
it's empty.
It's done.
Okay. Okay.
Game is over.
All right. Let's get back to Chicago. Sears Tower. Again, it's a scary building to me. I also I don't see anything to hold on to up there. You nearly died on the Sears Tower.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I didn't know that actually. All the AC machines, they are located near the top.
Okay.
And there was like some moisture on the building, which I couldn't see it. So it took me by surprise. So I nearly fell.
Because it was wet.
Didn't. I managed to hold on, you know, to give my my maximum not to fall. And then finishing the last 80 meters of the building, really struggling hard.
What do you do when you're up there and you think, I'm dead or I'm fucked? Like, how do you keep it in control? Because Alex had a similar experience, I think, on Half Dome when he free soloed that, you know, 8 years ago, where he got partway up and he felt similar. He's like, I don't feel comfortable here. And he had to really stay focused to get out of there. And I know he spent years thinking about that experience before he went after El Capitan.
You fight to stay alive. That's the only thing. So the only thing that keeps you hanging on the surface is that you don't want to die.
Okay.
You just don't want to fucking die, and you're gonna give your everything to stay alive. And then yes, when you are reaching the top, it really feels like you're reborn.
But if you think I'm going to die, I mean, how do you keep your adrenaline from spiking and panicking? Because then you're still there a minute later and you still have to do the same thing.
I guess
that's training.
Years of experiencing that kind of situation, you are your body is trained, your mind is trained. Your mind is not giving up. You are not surrendering. You surrender up because you fall. But as long as you can, you are kicking your ass to stay alive.
Right. So that's where all your free solo experience comes into play.
Yeah.
Because if you hadn't have done that, you probably wouldn't have made it.
No, definitely. It's a long process, actually.
Okay.
Right. It takes, nobody knows that for like almost 10 years, I was free soloing on a daily basis, 512C, 512D, 513A every day. That was what I was doing every day. Whatever was the weather conditions, whether it was raining, whether it was -5 degrees, whether I was sick with 39 degrees, I was climbing. I was taking my fucking revenge. What? I thought I was dead, year 1982. I had to show to myself that I was capable to do something with my life.
Yeah. What do your family say when they see you taking these risks? How do you?
Well, my wife, she always thought that actually this is his passion, meaning I cannot change his mind, you know. This is who he is, this guy, you know. He needs that to stay alive. You know, I'm not planning to change the guy, as he's also not planning to change me. And my new wife, she's also thinking the same way. You know, she freaks up, you know, and whenever I'm leaving, she doesn't know whether I'll be back.
But she knows that's you, so she just deals with it.
Yeah, she knows that I am having those capacities to succeed. I'm doing things, you know, nowadays, yes, I'm nearly 58. It's not as hard as what I was doing a long time ago. So let's say I'm having more margin, but...
Right, but you're still free soloing
But I'm
buildings.
still free soloing, meaning which is very unusual at that age. And it's quite funny, you know. I'm just hoping that I can stay alive a bit more, and like when I am 60 and 60 over, that I can still do that kind of stuff.
Are you going to retire ever?
Well, at least it depends. If being retired means you are lying on a bed with a cancer, then I don't want to be retired. I hope I can live, you know, like 10, 15, 20 years more, but still climbing, because this is what I love.
Okay, but intelligent climbs.
It is definitely, you know, not like doing crazy stuff.
You wouldn't climb the Sears Tower again, would you?
No, I don't even have the stamina to do that again.
Okay. How long did that take you? Hours?
I know, like it took 90 minutes.
Really? But it was fast.
It's quite fast.
That's fast.
And now, you know, they put some cage.
Okay.
Transparent, then for those who want to get the thrill of what I felt when I was climbing, they can have it.
Oh, they can go out on the cage?
Because they go on the cage and they can look down, and it's fucking scary, most likely.
It's not the same thing.
But except that for them, it's just like a cheap thrill.
Right. Alain, how can the rest of us get more risk in our life? You know, I mean, you say that people think you're crazy, but you think the rest of us are crazy because we live these too comfortable lives. How can we get more risk in our life without dying?
Because the problem, and I'm seeing it amongst the people, my family, actually, my kids, I know that they are willing because they want to get a job that they cannot be fired. So they are sacrificing their whole life to keep that job, because they know that they will get some income. They cannot get fired. If they want, they can make a loan. The bank is going to accept it. Right. But the job itself is fucking boring.
Right. So we're too safe.
They are willing to waste most of their life doing something that they don't like out of making money.
So the world is so risk averse these days, right? We do everything in our lives to avoid risk, which means at the end of the day means we have these potentially boring and unfulfilling lives that doesn't make us even feel good.
Because we all love risk. We are watching TVs, we are watching Bruce Willis, we are watching Tom Cruise, and we love it. So everybody loves it, actually. Most people, they don't have the guts, that's it.
Yeah.
But everybody loves it.
You know, they have these playgrounds for kids now in England where everything is soft, so nobody can get injured on the playground.
I know, I saw
Is this bad?
Well, let's say, I guess for the parents it's good. For the kids, yes, because it is not reflecting the reality. When you are falling on the ground, it's fucking painful. When you are falling in that kind of play field, you don't feel anything. So it's kind of tricky as well. I know that school and everything, they don't want to feel responsible for any injuries. they may get sued by lawyers, this and that. So, you know, most of the people, they are trying to avoid problems.
Yeah.
But is it the right way? Question mark.
Okay. I want to ask about a couple more of your climbs. Petronas Tower.
Wow.
Took you 12 years until you finally got to the top of that thing. This is in Kuala Lumpur. 3 attempts. Tell me about why is that such an important building to you, and why was it so difficult to summit? Do you call it summiting a building? What do you call it when you climb a building? Summit it?
Sorry?
What do you call it when you finally get to the top of a building?
Oh,
is there
I
a
said
word?
just fuck, man. You know, I was at the top, and that was the only thing that I could tell to myself. It's like, fuck, man, you did it.
Right. Why was it so hard?
Well, it was so hard because...
why is that building important?
I don't know, like I kind of fell in love for that building, and then I had to do it.
Is that the way it is with you? You see something and you just, I gotta do it?
Yeah, I just thought that I am even willing to go to jail for a long time, but I want to stand at the top of the building.
Okay, but the jails in Southeast Asia are no joke.
It's really bad, actually. It's dirty, and there's a lot of cockroaches, mosquitoes, all the shit, you can get it there, you know.
Right.
It's quite bad.
So they're dangerous jails.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And
so,
even guys, you know, they can do stuff on you that are not very funny.
yeah, the triads and all that, gangs.
Yeah, no, then that was, of course. The first, actually, what makes this building complicated, it's there is a platform running all around the building on the 60th stories, 72th, 80th, 84th, 88th. So I had to climb at night, at least passing the 60th and being unnoticed by the security of the building.
Because before they had noticed you and they'd stopped you at that.
They are waiting for you on the 60th, and then,
is that where the connecting? Because it's two
no,
towers.
This is the bridge.
Bridge.
But the bridge is only on the 43rd floor. The first cylindrical platform is on the 60th.
Okay, so you have to get past that before they see that you're there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll literally grab you.
Exactly.
And you can't get
up.
up.
There is like 20 guys waiting for you.
20 guys.
Cops, security people, emergency firefighter. You know, it's just impossible to escape.
And they don't like you climbing that building?
Not at all.
No, because some places don't mind.
They wouldn't care, but in Malaysia, it's kind of...
anti-government, makes the government look weak.
I don't think it's a real democracy, or at least it's an Asian democracy.
Right, okay.
So they had the first time, I get arrested on the 60th, and then I went to jail. I got kind of a bad treatment until a good friend of the King of Malaysia came there, and then I got released.
Okay.
After a few days, I had a dinner with the King and the Queen of Malaysia, and all of those guys. I thought that actually the monarchy was powerful, but not enough.
Okay.
They couldn't get me the approval to climb the building.
Climb the building. All right. So you go from climbing the side of a building, security grabs you, they throw you in jail, and then 2 days later you're having dinner with the King and the Queen of Malaysia.
Yeah.
And this happens to you a lot, right?
In my life, it's interesting because I met a lot of politicians.
Okay.
Even Tony Blair.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. After I climbed the day after I climbed the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, he was trying to understand how I did it, and you know, it was genuinely interesting.
Right. Of course, those guys think what you do is amazing.
And I find he's a cool guy, you know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, they don't like Tony Blair because of 2003 and the war in Iraq, but well, that's not my, I'm not really, me, the guy I met at least was a guy very sympathetic.
Okay. And you got, what did he ask you about? What did Tony ask you?
Well, how I could do that, why I'm doing this and that. And it was always smiley, you know, not mocking, but really a smiling guy, you know, is interesting to understand you.
Okay. And that was when you did the Burj in 2011 in Dubai. We got to talk about that at some point as well. That was the biggest climb that you did, right?
Yeah, because it's a long, long one, and it's actually it was approved by Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum, who is the prime minister.
Okay.
He came even to see me climbing. You know, he was with his son, the crown prince. There was also Sheikh Nayan, who is the education minister, and they were like with binoculars looking at me climbing, and quite awesome, you know. Because if you know Sheikh Mohammed, he's kind of a guy, not really the smiley type of guy.
Right.
And the fact that this guy, he came, you know, seeing me climbing, is kind of perplexing.
Right. Well, because what you do transcends culture, right? It
Yeah,
transcends
well,
language, because people see a guy 3,000 feet up in the air. I mean,
it brings something, you know, like different from, you know, the usual society things.
yeah. What was different about climbing the Burj? What did you have to prepare differently? You're in the desert. Were there more people watching? It's super high. There are wind issues.
Yeah, well, a bit of everything. First of all, it was cold.
Okay.
Especially, you know, because I finished it, it was midnight. And you are far, far above any other buildings that you can really see that you are really in the desert. You are no longer in a city. There is a needle and there is a desert all around you. There's no city.
Is it peaceful up there? Is it
Well,
scary?
definitely it is. It is like I was tired, you know. I was just thinking, okay, next step, next step, next step, and that was kind of a tiring ascent.
6 hours.
6 hours, yes. And there was this girl, you know, from the Guinness World of Records. She was kind of following me, you know, because there is those technical stories, but until like halfway through, she just gave up.
Okay, so she was following you at first, and then she
At
just...
first, yeah, let's say half of the building, she was like, you know, using the elevator, and then just like monitoring.
And then
Because I guess she hasn't understood that this building is gigantic. And then obviously I was climbing. So if there is photos, films, I am at the top. So there is nothing to discuss about.
And what's going through your head when you're at midnight, you know, a kilometer up in the sky, surrounded by nothingness? Like, are you thinking like, what am I doing? Are you thinking this is amazing? Are you thinking I just want to get to the top?
It's a bit of everything. It's like it's amazing. You're also struggling. You're tired. You are like you feel like you wish to be inside, like sipping a hot drink, maybe a champagne as well, and or maybe a rum. Dead man's fingers.
Yeah, what's the dead man fingers?
Dead man fingers, actually, they are brilliant.
Okay, this is something you wear on the back of your shirt sometimes.
Yeah, because dead man fingers, they are the one, you know, they are sponsoring me.
Okay.
And they are cool guys.
They're a rum brand?
Their way of thinking is far different than most of the people who did sponsor me in the past. So I'm really fitting with the brand.
Okay. And the brand.
Although they are working on a rum with champagne, because they know that I drink champagne, right. So they need to mix it.
Okay, so they make rum and it's called Dead Man's Fingers rum.
Yeah, well, the name is quite provocative, but actually, if you look at it, it is fitting very well, because my fingers, this is what is holding me alive, so I can be dead.
So they made the rum after you. The brand is called after you, Dead Man's Fingers.
I don't know. Maybe they got inspired. You know, the CEO actually is one of my big fans. No, I am one of his big fans.
Okay.
And yeah, Stewart, he told me, you know, like 2 months ago, we met, we spoke, and he said, I really love what you are doing, and I am really admiring you. And I didn't even know. For me, you know, like a CEO is like a businessman, most likely he doesn't care. And actually, he's a very human person.
Right.
I got really touched, because usually, you know, CEOs, they are like kind of boring guys, thinking money, making money, and then, you know, he's having a lot of respect for what I'm doing, and I really love the guy.
Do you ever get superstitious that you're wearing a shirt that says Dead Man's Fingers?
Oh no, I don't care about it. So many times I have signed people for discharging them just before the ascent. Meaning, I remembered because I was in Caracas. It was a live event, it was official, and on stage they built a stage in front of the building. The lawyer came, the TV host, and they read that I was going to undertake the ascent free solo, and I was responsible for my own death and damaging the building. And I had to sign that 2 minutes before I start to climb. So at first, I found it fact, man, those people, they're completely, they have no heart.
Right.
And then now I'm laughing at it. I just think, fuck, I'm not gonna fucking die. And if I die, it's okay. It's my game. It's my own life.
What's the closest call you've had on a building?
I got plenty, but I manage. So it's just like, it's also part of my life. You get close call when you are driving a car.
Yeah.
I've been to a tree 2 years back. I pulled off the tree. My speed was fast. I missed the curb, and I didn't put my belt. And I was alive, so, the close call, I got plenty.
I guess you can't have much of a close call in a building or you fall, right? I mean, there's not much. There's usually not anything holding you, so there's not many.
No, actually, it is fascinating that, yes, you are holding your life with sometimes only a few millimeters. This is interesting. And yes, it's kind of a reminder that how amazing our human body works, meaning our fingers, but our mind.
Yeah.
It's like you are literally putting your life into only a few millimeters. And it makes it interesting because then you are looking at you more deep inside you as a human being. How on earth we can do that? What makes us doing these kind of things, which for most of the people, it is completely crazy, insane. I climbed a month ago in Paris. I was actually supporting the movement on retirements, because now the government wants people to work more and so on and so on. So, of course, I am also a bit implicated, because it means that for me, I'll get retired when I'm 67, maybe 70. I was calculating actually the other day. So it means that to make a living, to make a decent living, I need to climb until I am 70. I'm fine because I love climbing. So if I'm having a good health, why not climbing even after I'm even 70? But
you're supporting the protesters, the yellow vest movement.
Not the yellow vest,
okay.
Actually, those on the
retirement.
For the retirement
okay.
pension, yeah.
And so you climbed a building to kind of help them, support them. Okay.
And on that day was really, really cold. And then I was very spontaneous, before it, I was in the UK. I flew back to Paris, and the following day, I was climbing the building.
How do you climb in the cold? It seems like the worst thing to do.
I just didn't feel my fingers. Sometimes I was knocking on the windows. I was really trying, to warm up my body. And I had climbed like 80% of the building. And I was a friend of mine. He's a cop. And he asked me if I wanted to cross on the right. And he said, okay, Alain, what you did already for today, it's enough, And I said, look, I need, the end for me is at the top. I cannot give up now. and it started to rain. And I said, my friend, his name is Jackie. I said, I need to hurry up because, I am only having a few minutes to finish it, because after, I'm dead, because once the building is completely wet, I'm done.
You're just going to slip,
yeah.
And then it's over. Okay. You talked about holding yourself up by your fingers, and how, I guess it's a way where you just really realize how precious your life is and how amazing your life is. And there's people that they get their legs blown off in Afghanistan, and they call that their alive moment, when they finally realized what their life was worth. And sometimes they say that was the greatest moment of their life, because they stopped living in this, in this zombie
state where I go to work and I go home and nothing happens.
That's right. Mainly, I am quite curious to know the percentage, but I think it's very high. Most of the people, they are not living a nice life. You know, there is this franchise. I discovered it in Singapore, TGIF. Thanks God it's Friday. It means everything. It means that for the normal people, life starts on Friday when they have finished their job. Because remember, job equal torture.
So the concept of Thank God It's Friday is against everything you stand for.
Exactly. I hate it. For me, Friday, it's every day.
Right. Okay, very well said. All right, let's finish up with Petronas. So you climbed it the first time, you got thrown in jail, you have dinner with the King of Malaysia. Not so bad.
Not so bad.
Second time you climb it, what happened?
I got the same problems, meaning I get caught on the 60th for the second times. That was Tower 2 instead of Tower 1.
Okay.
They put me in jail for 2 days, and then I got released. And after that, I just thought, well, it's over. You know, I didn't get lucky because, oh yes, for 3 days, I wanted to do it early morning, meaning when it's still in the darkness. But it was heavily raining. And the guy who was asking me to climb the building, he had his 2 sons in Kuala Lumpur, and they were skipping school. And it was their birthday present, seeing me climbing the Petronas. So on the 3rd days, my friend Alain, he said, Alain, it's okay, even though you're only climbing 60-story, still, you know, the kids, they are really, they are waiting for so long, seeing you climbing. So I just decided to do it. So I gave up on my dream just to please those 2 kids.
Okay.
And then 3 years later, it was 2007, 2 years later, I just thought, fuck, I cannot, you know, I cannot leave it, you know, I cannot give up on my dream. I still need to do another track because I want to make it. And then this time promising myself, no matter if I cannot start at nighttime, I just don't do it. Then I called my friend, a lawyer, and I said, look, dear Alain, this time I need to get, if you are knowing one of the best criminal lawyer in Kuala Lumpur, because I need this kind of guy this time to help me. So he said, but Alain, you are completely crazy. You know, you get already arrested 2 times. Honestly, you cannot try one more time. You're gonna be in a big shit. So he came back to me and he said, okay, I found up a guy. He's willing to help you pro bono. So then I decided, okay, then I'll do it. I flew to Kuala Lumpur, so everything was organized because I was doing a documentary film, and that was going to be the last ascent for this film. And when I met the lawyer, actually there was a misunderstanding. He thought it would be my 2nd attempt, and then when I told him it will be my 3rd attempt, first of all, he wanted to move backwards, which actually he said it was not. He was going to help me. But he said, Alain, you know, I'm just afraid for you because you're going to land in jail for 5 years. And then because it was during the Ramadan period, it was a Malay guy, but Indian Malay. So he flew to India, so disappeared for 5 days. Then after that meeting, I went back to the hotel, and then I called the UK and Los Angeles to tell them that actually I'm not gonna climb. But they said it's too late. All of the crews, they are on board. And I said, okay, to myself, let's see tomorrow how it works when they are arriving. I'm gonna tell them, look, actually, I cannot make it. Maybe we can still do, you know, the preparation and everything like if I was going to do it, but I'm not going to do it. And, you know, after 5 days, I started to change my mind and to think, well, maybe overall this lawyer, he told me bullshit, and actually he's just climbing a fucking building. They're not gonna put me in jail for a building. It's not, I'm not gonna kill anybody. I'm not gonna rape. I'm climbing a building, you know. And then I decided it's okay. I'm gonna do it. I just set up my mind.
Right.
Now this time, I'll do it.
Okay. So you started super early while it was dark.
Was like was still like dawn. Like I forgot. Like maybe 6:45 or.
Okay.
I was in a complete darkness. The only thing was the first 12 meters. I have realized, because I have checked everything days and days, and then there was always light. So I just thought, if I get spotted when I'm climbing those 12 meters, I am done. And I knew also all the cameras, all the blind spot, everything. I did study everything. So when I went there in the morning, yeah, I was kind of. Sometimes when I'm watching the film, it's I forgot the name. It's the Human Spider, The Return. That was Channel 4, and I can see, because they took those images not after but before, and I can see that I am nervous.
Oh, you are nervous
Yeah,
before.
they are using infrared cameras, and I am nervous only until the moment I am touching the building.
Okay.
Once I touch the building, I am shifting into a different mode.
Wow.
I am on a fighting mode.
Okay, but it must not feel good before.
Before, it's scary. Fortunately, I know my body, I know my mind, I know myself. So I know that actually once I am into it, it's okay. I will be doing it. I will be fighting all the way until I fall or until I make it. But at least I am a fighter. And I really love this fighting mode. This is what keeps me alive. This is what makes me enjoying so much, you know, what I have been living over the last 44 years, and what I'm still living, and what I will be living on next Tuesday.
Right. That makes total sense. And how was the climb itself? Because when you got to the top, there was these big spheres
Yeah,
on the top.
meaning I encountered problems like on the 87th story, this observatory level, which I didn't even know there was one, which the 87th story is the double height, and that was very complex. Fortunately, I am not such a bad climber, so I made it. I knew that once I was starting to climb this 87th story, there was no way for me to go down.
Right.
So that was like, okay. I didn't feel it, you know. I was really fighting. I did it. And then I reached finally the last platform on the 87th story. And then of course, no cops, nobody. Then I was thinking, maybe I should try, you know, to climb above. There is those following 10 meters that looks doable. So I found a way, I made it, thinking that now I'm sure there is those big, gigantic balls with very overhanging. And then I was thinking, this is it. After I need to climb down to the 88th story and waiting for the cop. But then when I was there, I was just thinking, I need to try, you know. And that was complicated, and I tried it. Then I kept on my mind, if I am passing it, I need also to do it on the way down. So that was a bit, I had a lot of questions on my mind, but still I was moving forward. Then after that, there was the steel mast, quite easy, but like about 60 meters. So I made it. And then there was another ball at the top, like overhanging maybe 2 meters. And then I tried it one time. I quickly came back to the base, and then I just couldn't make it. I tried a few times, and then I thought, fuck, it's like there is 2 meters missing, and don't tell me that you're gonna fail at 450 meters, and there is only those 2 meters. Then I had underneath my shirt the Malaysian flag because I knew that since it was a risky ascent, I had the logo of the new party of the Prime Minister. They gave a new name. So I put one Malaysia on my pants, one Malaysia on my bags. Actually, I did sew the logo at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I fixed the Malaysian flag just underneath the ball. And as I was about to go down, I told to myself, I can't. Doesn't matter whether if I am having to die today, I'm gonna make it. And I made it.
So you went up the last 2 meters to the top.
Oh yeah, that was magical.
Even though it was so dangerous.
I pinched myself. I had the camera running, but I never offed it actually.
You never turned the camera on. You had it on your head, but you didn't
That
turn
was
it on.
the helicopter filming. They made a very bad job because on that day it was cloudy. Also, they were not having the right to. They had to be always into motion.
Okay, they couldn't stop.
And the problem for this kind, it's not like the helicopter that they are using for TV news. They can film because they are very stable.
Yeah.
Guys, they were having like those long cameras. They couldn't find me on the buildings.
Okay.
Tower 1, Tower 2, they never knew in which one I was.
Okay.
It was cloudy, so they got like maybe the film, what they did with the helicopter that cost $10,000 US, they got like 5 seconds.
But you know you did it.
And there is images because there was guy from SIPA using a 600 millimeters with a double lenses, and they got me at the top.
Okay.
Because you know what? When I came back to 88 Story, I got arrested by the cops, and they denied it that I succeeded.
Really?
Until the guy, he showed to the cops his laptop, and he told them, "And what is this?"
And you put the Malaysian flags on there as a little bit of insurance, right? Just so that...
Yeah, well, to play it safe.
Okay.
At first, I wanted to do it on global warming,
right?
But Petronas, this is oil.
Yeah.
So meaning I was going to go against Petronas, which it was going to be very sensitive.
Right. So what happened? Did they throw you in jail?
They put me in jail, and the next day I went to court.
Okay.
Finally, my lawyer was quite happy, and he did a good job. Although the prosecutor, she was claiming 6 months in jail and a fine, the judge did say only the fine.
Okay.
So and I was quite funny because after I saw the prosecutor and she asked me, can I take a pictures for my kids? They are a big fan. And I said, but earlier you wanted to put me in jail. And he said, it's just a game. We prosecutor, we are asking for the maximum, but we are knowing that the judge will take the minimum.
Right. It's all just a big game.
Yeah.
Right. You have to trust that
But
process.
I just didn't know. It's just like, fuck, this bitch. 10 minutes ago, she wanted to throw me in jail. And now she's asking me autographs.
So that's one of your favorite ones, was the Petronas Tower, because it took so long and so many tries.
Yeah,
and it was so difficult.
And I am sure that if one day there is a movie about my life, this is the movie of my life.
That tower.
It can't be something too complicated about my whole life, because my whole life is far too complicated. It has to be Petronas. One first attempt, second attempt, third attempt that is successful, and with flashbacks.
Okay.
That's it.
Have you written?
This is the story.
Have you written the screenplay for your movie?
Not yet, but somebody's working on it.
Someone is, okay, with all the flashbacks in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, they can have this footage, by the way, if they want it to. Other things that you've been super proud of: the Taipei Tower, the Empire State Building, the place in Shanghai.
Well, I have loved pretty much everything, but you know, at one point, I cannot choose everything. Overall, I'm happy about my whole life.
Okay. Was the Empire State Building cool to climb? I mean, it's such an iconic piece, you know. King Kong was on there.
I didn't finish it because you cannot finish it. Actually, there is like a big part of the building that is missing, and because you cannot go above a certain level.
Okay. All right. So that's not a finish. And the Taipei Tower, that looked... I mean, that was big. It was the tallest.
That was nice, but the problem, the news was very short, because the next day there was the worst tsunami in the world ever.
Oh.
Banda Aceh happened the day after I climbed Taipei 101.
So you didn't get the news cycle.
No, just locally was okay, but internationally was quite medium.
Okay. And then the place in Shanghai, you climbed that, but China wasn't very happy, so they threw you out of the country, and now you can't
They
come.
put me in jail for 6 days.
6 days in China.
Yeah, and that was quite funny because what I've experienced in jail was interesting. You know, I was with 5 other inmates, and every day, you know, we had to do meditation. There was a warden checking. You know, we had to be kneel down inside the jail for 1 hour, holding our head, not allowed to speak 3 times a day, except weekends. Weekend we could watch TV in Chinese.
Okay. They call that a meditation, being on your knees.
It's a punishment, actually.
Okay.
3 times a day, meaning 3 hours a day. You do that, and well, I taught to the prisoners to say freedom. So they were shouting freedom with me. I knew that the warden, they didn't know what was the meaning of freedom. So that was fine. But it was really funny because we were shouting, freedom, freedom, freedom.
And now you can't go back to China unless you're invited.
No, I can. Actually, the funny thing is...
Because you have a statue in China of you.
I got banned for 5 years, but 5 months later, I was invited to come back to climb the Tianmen mountain.
Okay.
And I climbed it free solo. And a few years back, they made a bronze statue with a nice plate written in Chinese and in English, with a lot of spots and everything. And yeah, it's kind of a legacy, you know, that I am having that in China.
Okay. So
and if I want to go back to China, I need to be invited by the government.
Okay, you can't just go anytime you want.
No, I can't, because after that 5 years ban, I am kind of blacklisted.
Okay.
Meaning if everything is official, like 2 years back, I was giving a speech. I flew back to Shanghai, but I was invited.
Okay. Global warming is important for you.
And yeah, it is, because we are destroying the planet, and for us, we are not so much concerned. But for the next generation, it's going to be far worse. And in 10 generations from now, it could be maybe the end of the world.
So
at least for the human being species, there will be always things surviving. It's possible maybe to restart. You know, I was even reading, like, if, for example, the sun was disappearing, still we would be able to live a certain time, even though it's going to be really cold. But it leads to the extension of the human life.
Okay.
But maybe the human life overall is not that good. So, you know, because with our intelligence, we can do very bad things. We can also do very good things. But, you know, over the last 1,000 years, we did a lot of bad things.
Mm. So a lot of your climbs are to get awareness for global warming, awareness for, you know, the rights of employees in France.
That's but sometimes I feel a bit desperate, because it looks like more like something not very serious. When there is a big financial crisis, who cares about the global warming? It looks like kind of a luxury.
Right. But is there a crisis now?
There should be one, you know, with this new coronavirus.
Yeah, tell me, you want to do something to highlight attention to that?
You know, they are bringing a bit of paranoid to the whole world, telling I was watching the news earlier on BBC, and it is kind of scary what they are saying. But we are just forgetting that influenza is killing 3,000 people every week. So it's far more deadly. We are just talking about what we are calling the normal, simple, basic flu.
Right.
The paludism is killing 1 million people every year. Who cares? there is no contamination. That's what you know, the human being species is not that good because there isn't much compassion. We care about ourselves. If there is no contagious, it's okay, it's fine. So this is why sometimes, you know, I feel a bit sad, you know, for all of those people who are dying every day, but nobody knows because it's not on the news. Or like, you know, every now and then they're coming back to Syria, you know, what is happening is very bad. I don't know how many hundred thousands of people already died. They are suffering, it's very cold now, but it's just not interesting. The coronavirus, it's like a good business deal. It's also a gigantic business for the pharmaceutical laboratories. They are leading the world, those people.
So you kind of want to raise awareness that we're looking at that the wrong way.
Exactly.
It's a good point you make. I mean, influenza kills people all the time, and we don't talk about that, but we talk about this coronavirus, which has killed far fewer people, but it's the thing to talk about. It's almost like when there's a terrorist incident and 10 people die, it's like, but 100,000 people die of car accidents every year.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. So it's...
The Red Indian genocide, it is the worst in the whole history of the entire humanity. But nobody speak about it. Even Obama didn't get the guts to say anything about it.
This is the Armenian genocide.
No, the Red Indian.
Oh, the Red Indian. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. But no one talks about it. Yeah.
You know, bringing those epidemic, I forgot, cholera. That has killed a lot of people.
Yeah. Tell me about you. What is your daily routine? How do you stay fit? You said you have a climbing ceiling in Bali in your house, and you climb every day.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I'm even marveling like a guy my age can still hanging on a ceiling like a bat and like staying like few minutes, you know, I am crossing one side, coming back the other side, you know, without going down. So it's like sometimes I'm calculating, I am making nearly 100 meters on a ceiling.
Just on a ceiling climbing.
Yeah, then it's kind of, you know, mind-blowing.
Right, so your body's still functional, but you use it every day.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. When the doctors, they condemn me, they haven't understood that actually, although so badly injured, maybe the body had the capacity maybe to redo some joints. They are very personal, they are really shitty, but it works. But because I have used my hands, if not, they would be completely blocked.
Yeah, probably, right? Because you use it every day. What else do you do to stay fit? Do you watch your diet? Do you watch your sleep? Well, you know, what else?
No, I am a guy, I like napping, you know, nothing extraordinary. I like, you know, sun bath. I'm doing a bit of surfing in Bali. I like also going to the beach early morning, you know, just like kind of meditating about, you know, what I have done, what I will be doing, what's life, what's death, what's, you know, all of the questions that we human beings, we are having, and maybe all the more when we are getting older. And, you know, like, you know, realizing how beautiful it is watching the birds, listening to the birds, watching the sun rising, watching the sun going down, watching leaves with the wind, everything is into motion, watching the dragonfly, you know, the big insect, like looks like a bit like a plane, helicopter, watching plenty of things. Sometimes there is monkeys, sometimes there is a varan, there is a big turtle, there is all of those things that I didn't see it when I was young. I was too much focused on training and climbing. So overall, maybe there is a time for everything in life, and now it's more a time into reflection, looking the world, and maybe seeing that there is a lot of marvels that I just forget to look at it.
Right.
And we are having it in front of our eyes, and we are not seeing it. And it's a good time. I enjoy being 57, 58.
Yeah, And you're a father as well. You have a 5-year-old, and you still have kids that are in their 30s as well.
Yeah, you know, my eldest, Julien, is 32. He got some twins just like 5 months ago.
So you're a
He had
grandfather.
already one son. My elder is having a daughter also and a little boy. And my youngest, 25, still not. And now, because I did remarry, I am having a little boy who is 5 years old.
Okay. How's that?
It's pretty cool because actually, not that I loved all my kids the same way, but the thing is, when I was younger, I was also far too focused on climbing. So there's a lot of things that I didn't see. As my little boy, I am really seeing the way he's developing, and I find it very interesting. And he's playful, and you know.
Does he know what you do?
He knows, and he starts to be a bit afraid.
Okay.
Because he's having already the idea and the concept of life and death.
Okay.
And he knows that so far he fell because there is a climbing wall. He knows how it feels falling only from his height and then falling from 1 or 2 meters. And then he knows that it's bad. So I guess he can imagine that if I am falling from very high, I'm not going to make it.
Okay. So he's starting to realize that, and it
Yeah.
scares him. And your other kids, do they just know that's you? Are they?
Well, my son, my elder was asking me, when are you planning to stop climbing? Also my mom.
Your mom asked you that.
Oh yeah, she's 83, and yeah, she doesn't understand why I am. Well, first of all, why one day I started to climb and why I'm still climbing. And it's quite funny because I remember a long time ago, my dad he was telling me, but climbing is not a job. And I remember because I was 19, he was already telling me about thinking about the day I will be retired. And of course, now he passed away, and he was a good guy, you know. I had been, you know, tough with him, you know, a long time ago because I couldn't understand everything. But, you know, again, when you are getting older, maybe you are gaining more wisdom, you are gaining more understanding, and then maybe things that when I was younger, you know, I saw it wrongly, but now, of course, everything is a bit like a puzzle, you know, things are coming in place.
And tell me about you. If I were to ask a bunch of your friends, what is Alain's superpower? How are you able to do all these things you do? What would they say? What would be the first thing that comes to mind? Is it because you're organized, or is it because you have this deep passion? What would they say it is?
I would say this is the will power.
Willpower.
And mainly because this is the way I am seeing my life. You know, as I told you at the very beginning, I wanted to live my dreams. I wanted not to dream my life. So overall, I'm not bored. I'm living my dreams. I'm having fun. Another 20 years will be good.
Right. You want to be climbing in your 70s.
Yeah, well, that could be nice.
Right. It would be nice. What was the best day of your life and the worst day?
Wow. The best day, that's complicated because there is so many best day in my life. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Maybe standing at the top of the Petronas could be. Also seeing my son when he born. So there's a lot of things actually that I have loved in my life.
Okay.
It's not just only about climbing.
What about the worst day?
Even when I fell, I didn't feel it that it was that bad, although it was really bad. But right. The worst day, what could it be? I don't know. There is no worst day actually. They're all good.
Okay. What scares you?
Being bored, not, you know, having the feeling that I have wasted my life, you know, not having the guts to realize my dreams.
Do you ever get bored?
I'm not easily bored because I also like simple things like sleeping, like enjoying watching the nature and so maybe for some people, there is a time for everything. When I was younger, I was completely restless. I had to climb every day. And now I am more into a contemplative period in my life. So I'm not bored.
Right. And you always have things you're planning on doing. Do you have climbs in mind for the next couple of years?
Yeah, plenty.
Okay.
I don't know if I will do everything, but at least I am planning to do some stuff.
Is there anything you really want to climb?
I have always wanted to climb this Burj Al Arab, this hotel shaped like a sail. I was nearly about to do it year 2013. I was supposed to do a live event for NBC US, and they back off. So.
Okay, because they have to give you permission.
No, I had the permission and everything, but there is always thousands of lawyers. Some they think that it's doable. Others they're gonna think it's crazy. So it's always a battle with lawyers.
Lawyer battle.
Yeah.
And
Alex was even supposed to do Taipei 101 live.
Really?
He contacted me for that. At that time, he read my book and
he was going to climb it with you.
Me. I did it before, and he was going to do it for a live event as well.
Okay.
But he got the same problem as me with the Burj Al Arab.
Okay. He has not done free solo since El Capitan, someone told me.
No, because it does. Actually, he's even doing high mountains.
Right. Just rope climbing.
Yeah, I'm following him. Nowadays, there is a big community on Instagram. So, pretty much things that they are doing. And, nowadays he is more into doing things in Patagonia or...
Yeah, Antarctica maybe he was doing
Antarctica also possible.
Yeah, same with Jimmy Chin, I think. What keeps you awake at night? What concerns you about the world?
Well, a lot of things like all of those war. Finally, the cruelty of people. Overall, I am still having the feeling that we human beings we are a mistake. If you compare, the way how the nature is working, how all the animals are working. Everything is having its place. There is no waste. And it looks like that the only mistake is the human being species.
Does that mean we need to do something different?
I don't know what we could do.
It's in our nature to mess things up.
I guess so, yeah. Maybe the nuclear bombs are going to rule the problems for us.
Maybe. Or maybe the warming.
I don't know, who knows?
But I mean, El Capitan's not going anywhere, is it?
No.
So,
No, at least, a lot of people like you, I'm sure you're having plenty of fun doing what you do, being a journalist, but I saw also you are doing a lot of things. You are a sports person and you did some very great achievements yourself. So I guess those are the things that keeps us alive.
Yeah, it is. But we have to ask ourselves questions, like you said. If you look at nature, there's no species that creates so much waste and damage.
No, you're absolutely right. I am seeing it every day in Indonesia because, like for example, the deforestation there. It's massive, more than it was in Brazil.
Really? Where was this?
And they keep on. Sorry.
Where is this?
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Oh, Indonesia. Oh, yeah. The deforestation's bad there, right?
It's very, very bad.
And no one's watching.
And they are planting palm tree for the oil.
Right.
Which this oil is very bad because actually it is a kind of oil that is hardening in the system and it is causing a heart disease.
So we're killing ourselves and killing
but
the
you know,
planet.
the problem is as long as there will be a huge profit, and the problem is they don't know how to replace it, doing what, you know, meaning there is the economy, there is a gross domestic product, and there is 264 million people, so they need to find other ways to generate money, and maybe not so simple.
The problem with some of these industries is, like you said, it seems like it makes money, but if you look at the total cost to healthcare, to pollution, to all that, it's massive
Exactly.
losing of
It's
money.
the same thing as all of those cigarettes maker. It is, you know, nowadays, I didn't even know. I saw my son, he told me in France, it's nearly 10 euros for a pack. Now he's driving to Spain to buy his cigarettes.
Okay. Because of the taxes and all that stuff.
But you know, that's why there
it's
is
probably
always,
100 euros a pack if you think about
there is always a way, you know, if you don't
Right.
want to stop smoking, you will be crossing the whole world to buy cigarettes.
You used to give your wife a hard time about smoking, right?
Yeah,
Say
because
that was dangerous what she was doing. People thought that was funny.
No, because she was like kind of teasing me that what I was doing was dangerous, and then I told her that actually smoking is as dangerous as climbing. Or maybe it may take more time to die, but at the end of the day, it kills you as well.
That's what Alex Honnold said when people ask him about free solo. He says the consequences are high, but that doesn't mean it's high risk. That's what he said about free soloing.
Exactly.
And you feel the same way.
Pretty much the same way.
Right. Okay.
It's not like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we are dying. So it depends on which way you are choosing. You know, everybody knows nowadays that drinking, smoking, eating too much, eating rubbish, it kills us. We don't feel it because it's not instantaneous. If you climb El Capitan, if you fall, you will be living until you are touching the bottom of the cliff. But yeah, if you are smoking, if you are living in an unhealthy way, you are also killing yourself. And this is also what global warming is doing to us, which we are not really sizing it. Because it's not something immediate like falling or having a car accident and bumping into a tree, you are done. But we are only looking at things that it takes a short time to die, but not really realizing that we are destroying the entire planet and we are killing ourselves. We are killing the human being species.
Yeah. That being said, it's hard to be on Instagram these days because you see climbers dying all the time. I mean, I follow Jimmy Chin.
Also, one of my friends died like not long ago, and Austin, I forgot his family name, and he was following me for quite a long time. He actually is a guy who was specialized on climbing history. He's one of the guys who did very, very good things about what I did 25 years ago.
Okay.
He said, actually, he is the guy. Because I climbed 15 routes in between 513A and 530D, free solo, which is unequaled in the entire history.
Okay. And he was the guy that told everyone about it.
Yeah.
What's it like when you lose someone in the community? Like, how does the community respond?
It sucks because, well, you are never really prepared for that. It's like, especially, you know, in my field, I saw so many guys who passed away, like Patrick Edlinger, Patrick Béraud, Jean-Christophe Lafaille, recently Tony Lama, Austin, I forgot his family, I'm sorry. Meaning Patrick Boivin, yeah, the list is so long. Benoit Chamou, he was like 19 years old. There is a lot.
So it shows how dangerous.
If I'm thinking about a bit, I'm gonna find about 100 easily.
Right, so it's still a very dangerous sport.
Like Dean Potter.
Yeah.
Dan Osman.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
So this is just part of the sport. Always will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alain, I always ask a few questions at the end. I'm going to ask you, if you could pick up a phone and call the 20-year-old Alain, how old were you when you had your injury?
19.
19. So, yeah, if you could call the 20-year-old Alain, so you're recovering from that injury perhaps, if you could give him some advice based on everything you know now, what would you tell a 20-year-old? And what would you tell the 18-year-old at the same time? So pre-injury, post-injury, what would you tell them both?
The following success secrets are only available inside the London Real Tribe, where you get exclusive access and insights from our high-performance guests on wealth creation, productivity, leadership, morning routines, health, and well-being. To join our tribe community, go to londonreal.tv/tribe. Now, let's continue with the show.
So keep climbing, stay safe, and thanks so much, Alain. I appreciate you coming on.
Well, that's what I can wish for myself, and also because, yeah, seeing my little son getting older, so I need to be careful.
Yeah. All right. Well, please
Although being careful for me, it's.
I know that's why I don't want to really say be safe to you, because you just need to be you.
No, I am always.
So just
I am
be
always
you.
explaining that.
Yeah, be you.
I am like sports car. You take a brand new Ferrari. You are reaching the red zone. It's 8,000 or 9,000 RPM. So me now, I would be more like a small Volkswagen Golf. Meaning my RPM, I am still reaching the red, but it's 5,000.
Right, that's where you are now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep revving it. And thanks so much, Alain. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. That
Yeah.
was really cool. My pleasure.